Hi, beautiful. We're going to talk today about the real reason why your hair and energy are disappearing in midlife. This is the hormone nutrient imbalance causing hair shedding. So that's going to be the majority of our discussion. We're going to tie it in also why your nails might be breaking much easier, why your energy might be down, and it's all tied into one. So welcome to the training today. Here is what we're going to learn. Firstly, why declining estrogen. It affects your collagen and then it also affects your hair growth slowdown. So we're going to talk about basically the hair growth cycle as well, so you have a better understanding of that. The cortisol steal, how that's going to steal and like how this affects the nutrient intake for you, for your body to basically produce healthy amounts of hormones. We're also going to talk about the thyroid slowdown, how when you're underfueling certain nutrients, this greatly affects the thyroid and your iron depletion, why undereating is making it worse. And then we're going to tie all that in. I'm going to give you a repair strategy for this. So who this is for and who it isn't for. This is definitely for you if you notice your hair has been shedding or coming out in clumps. That is very, very common. And it's a very big sign of a hormonal imbalance. It's for you if your energy is being affected on a daily basis. If you wake up chronically fatigued, no amount of caffeine is helping, no amount of sleep, even if you get a good night's sleep, you're still feeling very low energy, then this is where we're going to turn to what are you eating? What sort of nutritional imbalances are you currently having? Maybe that's affecting the hormones, and most likely it is. This is for you if you're worried about hair loss. If your nails are breaking much easier, it's causing some worry and your energy impacts. And it's for you if you want to get a better understanding of why these changes are actually occurring on a hormonal level. Because I find that when you understand what's going on with your body, then we can take a functional root cause approach in order to heal that imbalance. So you're not just chronically taking a collagen supplement to help your hair. We're actually going in and working on the root cause so that way it can improve, it can heal, and you don't have to consistently take something forever. This is for you also if you want real solutions to help you regrow fuller and healthier hair and nails and take back your energy. How does that sound? So my big problem is that in the next 25 minutes, we're going to solve this problem once and for all. Firstly, you're going to understand why declining estrogen is impacting your collagen production and what that means for your hair growth cycle. So we're going to talk about your anagen, we're going to talk about your catagen, your telogen, hair growth cycle phases. So all of that, understanding how stress is depleting your body of energy production. So we're going to talk mostly about energy in that section, but it also has a huge effect on your hair growth cycle. We're going to understand how imbalances in your thyroid can happen. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an autoimmune condition. It doesn't have to be hypothyroidism. I had hypothyroidism, and I actually just really worked on my nutrition and the nutritional imbalances. I work with clients the same and reversed it. So I definitely know that it's possible in perimenopause and why they are the root cause of these issues. So these are all classic thyroid issues, but we can't just treat one. So that's one thing that it irks me when physicians do this, is that you can't just treat the thyroid because everything is operating in equilibrium. Estrogen is also likely impacting it, and your root cause hormones, your cortisol and insulin, although we're not going to talk that much about insulin today, it does actually have a huge effect also on your thyroid and your hair growth. Just so we can't make like I would be speaking forever then. And also why having a nutrient-rich diet is imperative for your hair and your nail growth and energy production. And then also we're going to give you the repair strategy that our clients use in order to heal this from like a functional root medicine cause. So why I've put this together for you today is because I want you to develop an understanding of your body, why these symptoms are occurring. Maybe certain things in your lifestyle or in your diet, they're not helping. Maybe there are things that you can do today, and I'm going to give you the repair strategy for that to address certain nutritional deficiencies. So that way we can take a root cause approach. I also know firsthand these symptoms. As I mentioned, I had hypothyroidism. The way that I found out was that my hair was shedding so much. It started to worry me. I actually had a bald spot at one point and it was coming out in clumps. And that was like one of the first signs where I was like, okay, something is really not right hormonally. I definitely knew something wasn't right hormonally because I had other symptoms as well. But this one was something that made me really worry about my aesthetics. Like, it's not nice to walk around with a bald spot or worry about how much hair is actually coming out. Is it going to regrow? And that creates just a lot of worry and anxiety, and it just that can also worsen symptoms because, as we're going to learn about cortisol, it can deplete your body of essential nutrients. I'm also building this YouTube playlist for you. So you can see different videos. Like, I also have perimenopause belly fat blueprint, why you're waking up at 3 a.m., videos about mood swings, explaining what actually happens when you go through perimenopause. I'm trying to build a playlist with different symptoms to give you concrete tools in each video that you can use to begin your healing journey. So that way you can be like, okay, I'm dealing with this symptom. I'm going to watch this video. I have a goal that I want to lose belly fat. So I'm going to watch the perimenopause belly fat blueprint. So I'm compiling a list of tools for you. So watch them. And then I want you to also feel beautiful in your body again. I know that that's 100% possible and worry free. I don't want you to worry about your hair or your nail growth or your energy. And this training is designed to do just that. Okay. So if you stay towards the end, you're going to have the opportunity to firstly get my 5-day perimenopause reset plan. This is like a little hormonal reset, and it will help you with hormonal supportive habits that you can begin to implement. You can also basically get my hormone cheat sheet. So you can basically just jump right to the finish line, understand all of the hacks for key hormonal groups. So that way you can begin to heal it. I've compiled that little like basically just without the understanding of what goes on, I give a little description, but it's mostly about what can you do. This is if you're very ambitious and you're like, I just want to heal and just give me the hacks. And then also my Elevate in 10 workout series, so 2 10-minute strength training routines, which are designed to boost your metabolism, burn fat quicker, build muscle, basically help with insulin resistance. Also, my From Fatigue to Freedom video series teaching you how to reclaim your energy, burn fat, boost your metabolism, create hormone harmony naturally. And I saved the best for last. I also have a complimentary midlife optimization session. So this is a one-on-one session where you and I will go through what you're going through, what your goals are, what you've tried, and I'm going to give you actionable tips, and you'll walk away with a blueprint that's worth $800 that you can begin implementing. You can begin your healing journey. So all of these tools, by the way, are available at my website. Thisisn't a diet.com/toolkit. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and get those, they're all available there. So who the heck am I? Why should you listen to me? I was a former two-time world champion Latin dancer. I had a beautiful 20-year career. And then because of my own health issues, which I started to face because I did a decade of fad dieting, and I spent upwards of $80,000 trying to fix a lot of the hormonal imbalances and weight gain that I was basically having, and nothing worked. Then I transitioned to the holistic health world. I became an IAN and MyMT certified menopause health coach. So now I help women in midlife. And basically, I'm the founder of This Isn't a Diet. And our mission is to help women in midlife get back to their 25-year-old bodies and restore hormonal balance in 45 days. I'm also the best-selling author of Read This When You're Done Dieting and podcast host of Listen to This When You're Done Dieting. So the biggest problem that you currently face right now is you might be worried about the rate at which you are losing hair and how your energy is tanking. And these are happening because you have declining estrogen. That's what tends to happen in midlife when we're going through perimenopause. And that affects collagen and that affects your hair cycle. Okay. And then you might be undernourishing your body because we as women, we're always taught that diet culture, eat less, move more, and why that actually doesn't work, because a lot of the weight gain that you might be trying to get in control of, by the way, watch my perimenopause belly fat blueprint because it will explain that. I also have another video up, is like why you're eating clean and you're still gaining weight. And those really go in depth about why your weight gain is actually hormonal. It's not a calories in versus calories out conversation. It's actually a culprit of either high estrogen, your cortisol, your insulin, your thyroid, your metabolism. we give you concrete hormonal tools that you can begin to use if you also have weight loss goals. I highly recommend watching those. And then also the stress, thyroid hormones, and iron depletion may all be impacting your hair, nails, and energy levels. And on top of all of that, perhaps these, sorry, perhaps these symptoms are worsening anxiety because it's creating more worry. Like I know certainly when I was having that extreme hair shedding, I was worried when I would go, I was like, would people see that like I have a little bald spot forming? Like it doesn't look cute for sure. And that definitely affected my confidence levels. And I definitely have walked in those shoes. I know how that feels. So the underlying pain and frustration that this causes in your life is the worry and anxiety over hair loss and low energy. Yeah. So that it just creates unnecessary worry. And this can worsen cortisol imbalances. It can cause confusion. You can be spending gobs of money on products. I certainly did. You can try all the things like collagen supplements, cortisol cocktails, biotin, keratin, doing hair treatments and everything. You can literally go down the rabbit hole of doing all the right hair care things, using all the rosemary and everything. But if you don't treat the hormonal root cause, the hair shedding is still going to continue. And these solutions, they cause confusion. You're like, why is nothing working? And you're not sure what will work. And then you also have a worsened confidence level and a self-image as a result of that. So this is what you want. Like, look at this beautiful hair flowing. She's got energy. She looks healthy, right? And vibrant. And I'm going to show you how to get that today. So I want you to imagine how would it feel to eliminate your hair shedding so your hair actually starts to grow back fuller and stronger than ever. I know certainly when I started to see little baby hairs coming in again and my hair wasn't all over my carpets and floors, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. And that just comes from adjusting a couple of things nutritionally. Okay. And of course, there are tons of lifestyle practices and hormone hacks we can implement, but I want to take a nutritional focus today. And then how would your daily life change when your energy is consistent, high, and predictable? So the hair loss and energy, and of course, nails, they all tie in together. That's why I made this training on these specific things because it all ties into the thyroid as one of the main root causes. However, there are other hormonal imbalances that occur. So this is the path that you need to take to get these results. Firstly, let's talk about estrogen, collagen, and hair growth slowdown. So firstly, a healthy hair growth cycle follows an anagen, catagen, and telogen phase. So your anagen is where we want to be the majority of the time. That's where basically that's your hair growth cycle. And estrogen, having a good amount of estrogen can keep your hair in this phase for longer, in its actual growth phase. And that's what we want. Now, catagen phase is when the hair follicle it actually detaches from the blood supply. And then the telogen phase is where it's going to rest for a little bit and then it's going to start to shed. Natural hair shedding occurs, like having about 50 to 100 hairs that you lose is normal. But what's not normal is having like clumps of hair or noticing that like an unusual amount is coming out when you shower, when you go about your day. That's really not normal. So when there are hormonal imbalances, the next cycle that occurs is actually what we call an exogen phase, aka active shedding, hair clumps, or just basically when you brush your hair, like a whole ton comes out and it doesn't feel normal. And you probably know deep down, you're like, my hair didn't used to shed this much. This is more than normal. I need to take a look at what's going on. So when estrogen is stable, like I said, and hair stays in the anagen, that phase for longer. And that translates to thicker, longer, and healthier hair. That's what we want. We want to put basically your body back into the anagen phase for longer before the hair follicles actually detach. And the reason that they detach is because it's making way for a new hair follicle before it sheds. Okay. Fluctuating estrogen also affects your collagen production. So collagen is really important for your hair growth, for your skin, for your nails. That's why so many people have coined like collagen supplements as like these beauty supplements because this is like outwards of your physical beauty, right? This is so important. And we definitely know that past 25, your body and your collagen reserves, they start depleting. So we really want to help and boost estrogen. And we also want to make sure that enough blood flow is coming to the scalp. If you've tried all of the other holistic methods, like the hair massager, rosemary, hair oiling, like all of these techniques, I definitely went down that rabbit hole. And it's a beautiful method. It doesn't treat the root cause, but it can help stimulate more circulation to the scalp, which is beautiful for keeping hair in the anagen phase. And then collagen, it also, like we said, affects nails and skin health, which is why you also may see in perimenopause as a direct sub-symptom. You may see drier skin as a result of the declining estrogen. And I know so many women who go through perimenopause, their skin is getting drier and itchier, and they're like, why is itchy skin a result of perimenopause? That's actually the real reason is declining estrogen, and that affects your collagen production and that affects your skin. It's all interconnected. So that's why this is like basically going to be your ultimate beauty glow up as well. And like I said before, a normal hair shedding is about 50 to 100 hairs. If you're seeing those visible clumps coming out, we know that we got to take a hormonal root cause approach. So there's also the cortisol steal, which we're going to talk about. And that's that midlife women, we often underfuel, right? Especially if we have weight loss goals, and we're just so busy and we forget to eat, or we're filling up so many other cups that we don't prioritize taking care of ourselves or eat really under nutritious meals. We also overtrain, we overwork. You might be at like the busiest season in your career and like achieving new opportunities, and that's all amazing. But you also might be undersleeping as a result of that. And this affects your cortisol, it affects your recovery, it affects your hair, skin, nails, energy, of course. So this is a recipe for high cortisol, chronic high cortisol, which is keeping you in your sympathetic nervous system operating full time where your body cannot fully recover, cannot fully heal. And then you're basically going to be speeding up the process of where your hair is starting to detach and shed. And it also leads to adrenal fatigue. So chronic stress, as I just mentioned, it pushes hair into the telogen phase. So where you're going to have shedding and it drains your mitochondrial energy production. This is something we haven't talked about yet in any of my other videos. So your mitochondria is one of the most important things that we could ever do from a health standpoint. It's so vital for converting nutrients into ATP. This is your cellular energy, and your mitochondria are directly responsible for that. It's also so important for regulating oxidative stress. So basically, that's where antioxidants in your diet plays a huge role because oxidative stress is when you have free radicals in your body and it's causing increased inflammation. It speeds up your aging. You can see more wrinkles. Like it's not what we want from a beauty perspective. So taking care and prioritizing mitochondrial health is another reason why this is so important. You can also control cell turnover so it's not happening as quickly. You can influence hormone signaling, and this plays a direct role in affecting follicle hair growth cycles. So again, how long are you staying in your anagen phase before the hair follicle detaches? Mitochondria is something essential for this. So we need to also eat and fuel our bodies to make sure our mitochondria have enough nutrients in order to firstly give ourselves enough energy to do all the processes it needs to do. Underfueling can affect the mitochondria by depleting it of essential B vitamins and decreasing magnesium. Most women, there's a study that's 90% of women were deficient in magnesium. So taking some sort of magnesium is already a great strategy, especially before you go to bed. It can also really help with your sleep. I believe that's one of the strategies I give in the Why You're Waking Up at 3 a.m. video that I have in this playlist. It's also important to nourish the thyroid with essential nutrients, and we're going to talk about that in a second. An adequate protein intake is also essential because our hair is literally built from amino acids. The majority of women that I speak to, they're not eating enough protein, especially if you follow some sort of westernized diet, oats in the morning or just like a little bit of yogurt. And then you're having like a salad for lunch, and then you only get your first source of real protein at dinner when you have meat with some veggies or whatever that looks like for you. So adequate protein intake, it's going to be so vital for building beautiful, long, thick, full hair. That's like one of the first things that we also need to take care of. So let's also talk about the thyroid slowdown. This is like going to be a bigger thing that we're going to talk about because that's one of the main culprits and your iron depletion. Okay. So chronic high cortisol and imbalanced glucose levels. So also your insulin, how much insulin and glucose your body is intaking, how insulin resistant you are. This can throw off your thyroid hormones. And I talk about this in nearly every single video because we have a hormone hierarchy. So we can't just go in and focus on your thyroid. We have to make sure cortisol and insulin are first being addressed because it directly impacts your thyroid hormones and this directly impacts your sex hormones. So we need to basically take a top-down approach. On top of that, underfueling, it also depletes your thyroid of essential nutrients needed to convert T4 into its active hormone, which is T3. If you're not getting enough nutrients, this process is not happening and your body cannot use this hormone. So we need to make sure you're getting enough iodine, enough selenium, enough B vitamins, enough iron. These are some of the main ones which really go in and support the thyroid. Okay, and we can do this through foods and supplementation. It's very easy to do. Iron is also, it's so essential for your mitochondrial health for creating that ATP, that cellular energy, and also transporting oxygen to cells. If you're low in iron, you may feel colder like all of the time. I've definitely been in those places where, especially because I was vegan for about 3 years. I didn't know I had some gut issues back then, but I was having trouble digesting meats, and so I decided to go vegan. And I was definitely low in iron. I was cold all of the time. I didn't have as much energy. And so that's where making sure you're taking, if you're taking an iron supplement, make sure you have a vitamin C for absorption as well. Or make sure that you're eating, I'm going to show you some iron-rich foods at the end in the repair strategy. But this is so important also for your energy production, so you have enough energy because your oxygen it needs, your cells need that oxygen that iron helps to transport. Low selenium is especially tied with having a higher inflammation on the thyroid gland, funnily enough. So I'm also going to cover with you in the repair strategy some key foods. I make sure I have some of these every single day just to get in enough selenium. And I remember when I was vegan, I was eating this round the clock just to repair my thyroid gland. So, and it really, really helped, trust me. So this is a huge one as well. And hair loss and fatigue are often early warning signs of nutrient thyroid strain. It's just a sign your body is trying to communicate to you. Any symptom is a vital sign. You want to listen to your body, not suppress symptoms. You want to basically be like, oh, okay, something is off. My body's trying to communicate to me that it's not happy with something. It's not receiving enough. I'm overstressed, maybe. My glucose levels, maybe it's something metabolic. It usually is metabolic. So again, we need to understand what those messages mean. And that's why working with like a functional practitioner can be so useful to understanding these warning signals. And in my programs, we craft custom meal and supplementation plans for all of our clients, which address those nutrition deficiencies, which they come to me with. And this addresses the root cause of the hormonal imbalance. So I'm going to give you 3 hacks to basically help. So we're going to get 30 plus grams of protein per meal. So this is really, really important because like I said, your hair is literally built from amino acids. And I find that, when I say get 30 grams of protein in per meal, people are like, great, I'm having 2 eggs in the morning. I'm getting enough protein for my morning, for my breakfast. One egg only has about 6 grams. So you're only getting about 12. And then you might have like a side salad and maybe there's like some minimal protein in there. We actually don't realize how hard it is to hit some of these protein goals. And so that's why I make sure with all of my clients, first we're tracking and we're understanding what getting adequate amounts of protein. And by the way, 30 grams per meal is the minimum. To get optimal amounts of protein, you want to be getting about 1 gram. And sorry, this is still minimum, 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. We calculate with my clients optimal ranges for them. And I encourage you to track in the beginning what your protein intake is currently looking like. There's some free apps like MyFitnessPal and ProteinPal in there in order to just give you like a quantitative figure of what that actually looks like for you. You can also take iodine drops because it can be very difficult to get iodine. Iodine is very rich in sea vegetables. So like kelp and seaweed is beautiful. Whenever I go out for sushi, the first thing that I order is a seaweed salad, and it's so yummy and it's so, so good for your thyroid for that iodine hit. So I highly encourage that. You can also take like algae supplements, but I would just go right to the source and take iodine drops as an example. Brazil nuts are so key for selenium. They are one of the highest selenium foods. So when I was vegan, I made sure I had about 3 to 4 Brazil nuts per day for a good selenium hit to lower the inflammation, to help T4 to T3 conversion, to nourish the thyroid. But eggs, including the yolk, is really also a great food for selenium. And then to get enough iron and B vitamins, red meat is one of the highest sources of these minerals, and organ meats. This is literally the highest, especially like if somebody's coming to me and they're postpartum and their body is just so heavily depleted, or this is also great if you just had a period and you're dealing with blood loss. This is one of the main things that you want to replenish. And that's why I also do cycle syncing with my clients. So, when you're on your period, having more red meat and organ meats are so amazing for refueling your body. Okay. And then also, one more thing that you can do to control inflammation is stop cooking with harmful seed oils, because this increases oxidative stress in your body. This will speed up aging. This will speed up the hair growth cycle phase. It will worsen your skin health. It's just not good for you. And then you can start cooking with healthy fats. This is so good for sex hormone production because those hormones are literally made from cholesterol. So having like organic grass-fed butter that you're cooking with, or ghee, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, easy ways to get more healthy fats into your diet. And once you align your nutrition and supplements around your deficiencies and map out a clear plan, your hair and energy is going to be back better than before. I can highly say that without a doubt. So I highly encourage you to check out the perimenopause belly fat blueprint video next at the top of this playlist, where you're going to get so many keys. It's one of the best videos for explaining what's actually going on in perimenopause, how to ditch the belly fat, and also how to do just a bunch of other things. When you start to do those things, you're also going to notice your hair is getting better, your sleep is getting better. It literally encompasses everything. So check that video out, and I'll see you there.